Hi guys, Action 007 Cinema here. Before we start, warning, spoilers ahead. Today I'm going to recap a 2011 American action thriller movie called Hannah. This movie is about the struggle of a young girl who was trained to be an assassin to avenge her mother's death. But her journey gets even more difficult when she has to find new facts about her true identity. Well, can she still get her revenge, or will she be trapped in the ambiguity of her identity? Let's find out together. The story begins with a blonde girl, hunting in the middle of a quiet snow forest. She is Hannah. She lives away from the crowds and civilization, in a hut in the middle of a snowy forest. Of course, she isn't crazy enough to live alone in the woods. She lives with her father, Eric Miller, who brings her to this place. Eric has always taught her about the outside world through books and past experiences despite living an isolated life. Everything he does is reasonable. He tries to keep Hannah away from the dangerous side of the world. For Hannah, every day with her father feels like hell and heaven outright. She is always trained hard to be an assassin, but also gets the love of her father. Hannah isn't raised to be an ordinary girl. Her days are just filled with physical exercises and shooting practices. She deliberately trains hard to sharpen her instincts. Eric always tells Hannah that she is prepared to kill Marissa Wiegler, the one who has killed her mother in the past. At least, that's what Eric tells her. As many days have passed, Hannah's abilities grow even more. Her instincts tell her that she is ready to carry out the revenge mission that Eric always tells. Although Eric looks very reluctant to let Hannah go, he also has no other choice. Eric makes up his mind by picking up the radio to Laura Wiegler. He tells Hannah to decide everything carefully, because once the radio is turned on, their position will be immediately known by Wiegler, and Eric won't be helping Hannah complete her mission. She must finish her duty on her own. Eric knows her daughter doesn't take long to make up her mind. Eric is totally ready to leave the hut where they lived. They also promise to meet in Berlin after Hannah completes the mission. At the same time, Wiegler receives a signal of Eric's whereabouts. He immediately orders her men to find and arrest him. The troops are shocked upon their arrival at the hut by the death of their two comrades at the hands of a young girl. Despite not finding Eric, they suspect Hannah of being related to him and take her with them. They have no idea that Hannah is a more dangerous figure than anyone they have ever met. The story continues with Hannah, who becomes a prisoner. Like many normal interrogations, she is asked about Eric's identity, background, and whereabouts. But Hannah doesn't give them a clear answer other than asking to see Wiegler, even though Wiegler needs to know every information about Eric right now. She isn't stupid enough to fall into Hannah's trap. Of course, she sends her double to see Hannah. Hannah asks a few questions to confirm that she is the Wiegler she is looking for. Of course, every answer is correct because that person is guided by Wiegler. Hannah, who doesn't know this fact, immediately kills Wiegler's double. The guards immediately prepare to take down Hannah, who becomes a threat. But it looks like it isn't enough to stop her, who has trained for this day for many years. She escapes from the guards by entering one of the labs and finds the results of her body research. She still doesn't understand the contents of the research results and decides to steal the records first. Hannah manages to get out of the laboratory. She is pretty surprised by the desert scenery she is witnessing now. Everything is totally different from her place. But Hannah doesn't forget that the danger has not stopped chasing her yet. She keeps running aimlessly in that desert until she meets a family on vacation. Despite accepting their offer for a ride, Hannah prefers to travel alone. Upon her arrival in a small town in Morocco, she immediately changes her prisoner's clothes with clothes that she took from the locals and looks for lodging. She also doesn't forget to inform Eric using a postcard about her success in killing Wiegler. However, Hannah's life is far from technology. She is really amazed by what she is witnessing now. It is the first time for her to see lights, TV, and electricity with her own eyes. This actually bothers her. She chooses to escape from the inn and accidentally runs into the traveler's family that she met before. Unbeknownst to them, Hannah secretly sneaks into their van. On the other hand, Wiegler has ordered her men to find and arrest Hannah. She doesn't want herself to worry about Hannah, because she must find and kill Eric immediately. Actually, it doesn't take long for Wiegler's men to find any trace of Hannah. However, their tardiness in taking action makes them lose track of her. After their arrival, Hannah is caught by the traveler's daughter. Instead of being kicked out, Hannah is invited to enjoy their time. She accepts the offer because she wants to enjoy the new world that she hasn't seen before, She finally got her first friend after coming out of hiding. But she still can't tell everything about her to her new friend because she worries that it will put her friend in danger. It seems her short happiness must vanish once she realizes that a group of stalkers are following her and this traveler's family. She doesn't want to involve them in her problem and decides to run away independently. Although it's a little difficult to escape from the pursuit of Wiedler's men, Hannah still manages to escape from them by boarding a ship to Berlin. However, Hannah still has no idea they are Wiedler's men because she thinks Wiedler has already died. Meanwhile, Wiedler's men, who have lost track of Hannah, decide to kidnap the travelers to extract information about Hannah. On the other hand, Eric manages to arrive at his hideout in Berlin. But he feels something strange around him. Many people are watching his movements. It turns out that they are Wiedler's men who are sent to oversee Eric's movements. Realizing this, Eric immediately finishes them off. Eric is confused when he finds out they were Wiedler's men, because he thinks Wiedler has already been killed by Hannah. He immediately moves over to confirm Wiedler's death. It doesn't take long for Eric to find Wiedler. He has no time to think why Wiedler isn't dead yet. He must kill Wiedler immediately while there is still a chance. But unfortunately, Eric can't manage to kill her here. Wiedler manages to escape and directly gathers with her men. Not done with the mess she got from her meeting with Eric, she must face her men's failure to kidnap Hannah. Wiedler immediately interrogates the travelers who are arrested by her men. These innocent travelers are easily deceived by Wiedler. She receives information that Hannah is heading to Berlin to meet her father. Realizing this, Wiedler feels that this is a good opportunity. She can instantly annihilate 2 of her enemies in one go. The story goes back to Hannah. She manages to be the first to arrive at the meeting point in Berlin. She meets an old man who greets her warmly, who turns out to be Eric's friend. Even though she doesn't know who he is, he doesn't seem to have a bad intention. He even knows about Eric and Hannah's mother's past. However, their conversation has to stop because Wiedler and her men manage to find her again. Hannah immediately hides to avoid Wiedler. This incident is the turning point of everything. She finally knows that the one who she has killed before wasn't Wiedler. Hannah overhears from Wiedler's conversation that she is the result of an experiment, and Eric is not his real father. Her mind is shaken. She is confused about which fact she has to believe. She has to make everything clear. Hannah begins to search for her identity as soon as she escapes from Wiedler and his men. Her search leads her to a house that turns out to be her mother's house, and she accidentally meets Eric. Eric is forced to explain everything. He is part of the researchers who conduct experiments to create more perfect assassins than most soldiers. Eric invites Hannah's mother, who intends to abort Hannah's birth, to join this experiment instead of aborting her baby. However, Wiedler, in charge of the experiment, doesn't want to be blamed for doing such inhumane research. She deleted all data and history related to the research, including killing people involved with that research. Sadly, Hannah's mother can't survive this tragedy. Only Hannah and Eric manage to escape. All of his effort to keep Hannah away from the outside world is so that she doesn't get killed by Wiedler before she can avenge her mother's death. However, their reunion has to stop there as Wiedler and her men arrive. Eric tries to distract them so that Hannah can escape. Even though he manages to kill 2 of Wiedler's men, Eric's death is unavoidable with Wiedler, who is firing a gun at him. Hannah, who realizes that Eric is dead, knows she can't do anything anymore. She decides to return to the meeting place she had left earlier. However, the situation here is not much different from where she was. Eric's friend who she met earlier had also been killed by Wiedler. She loses her patience. She takes the arrow that is stuck in the old man's body and lures Wiedler to another place, deciding to end it all. Either Hannah or Wiedler will die today. There is no more information she needs from Wiedler as she has enough reason to kill her. Well, that's how the story ends. The fact that she is the result of Eric's experiment doesn't stop Hannah from taking revenge for her father. From this movie, we also learn that either big or small grudges left behind will always be looking for revenge in the future. What do you think of Hannah's journey? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Thank you for watching, and as always, see you next time.